Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. It is Friday, May 14th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I am live. Alrighty, come on in. Well, hello Gina, you're the first in the room. Welcome. Let's see, Gina Papa Dimatro. I probably killed that. Hello Julie. Hello Claire. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, come on in. Good to see everybody, as usual. Hello, Helen Elliston. Of course I knew you'd be here, sweetie. Christy, good to see ya. Melissa, hello. Hey, Rhonda. Rhonda, I love your piece that you're doing, that Oriental piece. I love how you added the black shading on there. That was really great. So welcome to everybody that's coming in. Welcome to everybody who is watching but hasn't dropped into the room. Our observation deck people, our balcony people. Love you guys. All right, so let's go over calendar real quick. No, Rhonda, it's not a mess. It looks really good. All right, today we have Claire coming in with Color with Claire Eadie. Yay. So glad everybody could make it. Saturday, Sunday is the close of the Rose Contest. Be sure to post your entries. That was from Melba Carter. And our face contest ends. And actually that face contest was also a freebie from Claire. So that was pretty cool. All right, and then next Sunday, the 23rd, our Hearts contest ends. That's a biggie, guys. $100 gift certificate. And that was from Helen Elliston. So we really appreciate that. Absolutely fun with that. So guys, we've got a lot going on. And Claire has a surprise from everybody too, for everybody. Hey Pearl. Sarah, welcome. I love you guys. It's so good to see everybody. All right, so tonight we have Claire with Color with Claire. You know her from her videos on YouTube. I'm so glad she could join us. Sarah, what's going on real quick? You're conflicted with something at work? All right, let me take a moment to do that. You know that we always also honor prayers. Lord God, in the holy name of Jesus Christ, we ask you, you know what the conflict is with Sarah Thacker at work. We ask that you resolve that situation in your glorious way. We thank you so much for you taking care of us and doing this. Lord God, Sarah is asking for your help. There's an issue with a coworker, and I ask, Lord God, that you take care of this on behalf of Miss Sarah. Close this person's mouth about these lies, Lord God. We thank you, we come to you, and we appreciate you. In the name of Jesus, amen. All right, Sarah, you're covered. Okay. So, Miss Claire, if you'll go ahead and request to come on. We'll go ahead and get you going here. You are welcome, Miss Sarah. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm just going to get the volume down a little bit because it's really loud. As you know,
Okay.
it's really late where I am, so everyone's in bed. So I've got to be super quiet.
Oh, gee, it's only 1 o'clock in the morning where you are, right?
That's right, yeah. It's way past my bedtime.
Well, sweetie, you look absolutely wonderful. So,
Thank you.
and listen, thank you so much for coming on as my guest.
You're
I
very
really
welcome.
I know it's a hassle because of the time difference, but hey, what we do for our coloring peeps and our art, we're up to
Exactly.
doing it.
Sacrifices.
Yeah. So pop out those toothpicks from your eyes now, and we'll be all
Yes.
set.
Yes, I've got my hot water bottle and that's not helping because that's making me feel really sleepy, but I'm too cold otherwise. But
Oh
yeah, you'll
no.
always find me with a hot water bottle.
All right. So everybody, this is Claire Eadie with Color with Claire, and she is a very big enthusiastic person regarding coloring and putting out her talents for everybody in the coloring community. As you know, she's got her YouTube channel. And so, Claire, let's go ahead and talk about how you got involved in adult coloring in the first place.
Well, it was quite a while ago actually. I first started the blog in, I think it was 2015, but
Okay.
before that, I think it was a couple of years before that, was when I was colouring just to help with panic attacks and anxiety.
Okay.
So yeah, the story is, I've told this story quite a few times, but the story is that because of my anxiety, depression, panic, and things like that, I was going through a really bad period with it. And it just so happens that one morning I was feeling really sick and nauseous and just getting really panicky. And one of my kids' colouring books was on the floor near me where I was sort of laid out, trying to get over this panic attack. And I just started just filling in. I just picked up the pencil and just started filling in just bits on the page. I wasn't even thinking about what I was doing. I was just trying to distract myself from everything that was going on mentally. And
Yeah.
just after a few sort of minutes of doing that, I realized that I had sort of detached from what was going on in my brain. And I just felt a lot calmer, and things were just, I was coming back to myself a little bit, because when you're in a panic attack, you sort of feel like you kind of leaving your body and it's all very weird. And I think this just really refocused me back into whatever my hands were doing. My brain was just completely focused on it. So that was that. And I didn't, funnily enough, I didn't really put two and two together for a long time. I just thought, oh
Mm-hmm.
well, I got over it and carried on with the rest of my day. And then adult colouring obviously came to the fore in 2015 when Johanna Basford released her books. And
Yes.
that's when I sort of remembered back to when it had helped me, and I thought, well, maybe it will, you know, maybe that's why people have started doing it, because, you know, it takes your mind off things and whatever. And I thought this could be something I do on a regular basis, not just something that I sort of resort to when I desperately need it. So that's what I started doing. I started colouring pretty much every day, and then when it became the huge thing that it became, I thought there wasn't really anywhere else on the web where you could find out what books looked like inside before you bought them, what the paper was like, the different art supplies that work best with papers and things like that. So I thought this has given me another focus to help others who might be in a similar position, and that's just how it all started.
Okay, so basically you were able to make that jump from being very close to yourself and depressed
Mm-hmm.
to turning it around and making it a benefit for everybody else.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I still do suffer with that. You know, not a whole lot has changed with my mental health, but it definitely helps, and it helps me to know that I'm possibly helping other people. Like, that gives me the motivation to keep making the videos, because I think if no one was sort of responding, or you know, if I wasn't getting that feedback that I do get from people, I mean, even if it's just helping them just to up level the colouring skills so they can do a little bit better, you know, and they feel more of an achievement in that way,
Okay.
even if it's just that, it's really great. But then you've got people who do message and come through saying things like, you know, they're experiencing a lot of turmoil, and my videos have just taken them out of it for half an hour, which is just, it's massive. I know it doesn't sound like a big thing, but for me, that I know how that is, so it's massive for me that I can do that for other people.
Well, and you know, Claire, I'm actually there with you. You know, I haven't talked a lot about it either, but you know, I've got depression issues as well,
Mm-hmm.
and so you know, I've been doing adult coloring. Oh my gosh, what 8 years, 9 years now, and I've been doing it here in my studio. And one day I thought, you know, I could be sharing this with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started doing the YouTube videos is where I started out. And then it occurred to me that I could go live, Facebook
Yeah.
Live. And so I make it a point now. I think, you know, I told you a little bit about what I'm doing is I make it a point to be online 3 hours a night, every night, 7 days
Yeah.
a week, 365 days a
It's
year.
amazing. I don't know how you do it. I really don't. I mean, I've done little lives before, and you know, tried to do a video every day for a week or whatever, and I find it really difficult to like know what to talk about and keep it going. So it's amazing that you dedicate, you know, a certain amount of time every single day to that,
Yeah,
you know, for
yeah,
other
and
people.
yeah, and you know, I've gotten so many private notes, and you know, you've gotten this as well, as how much it's helped, and you know how much they really appreciate it, and
Hmm.
how it really saved them from, you know, really going into a deep funk.
Yeah.
So I'm there with you. I understand exactly what you're saying, and I think that that is tremendous that you are doing this as well, because you're obviously not, you know, you're not really doing it for the money per se. And you've got your followings, you've got a huge, huge following, which is absolutely wonderful. How did you get so many people?
I don't know. It's probably. I mean, it didn't happen overnight. I guess.
Right.
I've had, like I say, I had the blog for a long time, where I was writing reviews, so it was all written and taking photographs of books and things. And then the YouTube channel I started, I want to say 3 years ago. Um, could be wrong, but yeah, it's not as long as I've been doing the whole colouring reviews and things like that, so it hasn't happened overnight. It's been a gradual thing. And yeah, I don't know, I think people just relate to maybe my style of how I do my videos, because I'm very down to earth, and I like to make things as simple as possible, because I'm somebody that just likes things to be basic and straight John Bull, and just know exactly what you're doing without all the fluffy language and stuff. So maybe people like that about it. I don't know.
Well, and interestingly enough, and that's an interesting point that you brought up, is I think that you know, and I've seen it in you, and I do the same thing, is you don't get really convoluted with all the coloring and
Mm.
everything.
Yeah.
And that makes such a difference, because when people teach, I don't know if you know this about me. I have a master's degree in adult education. And
No, I didn't
so,
know.
yes, ma'am, I do. And I have two engineering degrees, but that's different. Um,
Yeah.
well, it helps with my logical thinking. But the thing is, in teaching, if you teach over somebody's head or don't take into account something that they don't know, or you assume they know it and don't address that, it totally makes the lesson not worth it. And one of the things that I have always admired in your work is that you are very detailed, but not detailed to the point that it gets boring or
Yeah.
convoluted. And you show exactly how to do it, and you make everything that you do accomplishable.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's really the huge thing. Um, you know, I admire other people that are doing YouTube videos, but when I see the way they do it, it doesn't take into account those people that need to learn those steps to get there.
Yeah, exactly. There's
And
there's
that's
yeah, there's often a big jump, with artists, and especially fine artists. They kind of assume almost that people will know all of these foundations and these basic things, whereas I'm on the other end of the scale, so I often worry that I'm making my videos too basic, and people will just go, well, duh, everyone knows that. But that's not always the case. Sometimes people don't take that time um to explain all the really basic stuff.
right. And the other thing that I've found, which you have keyed into as well, is when people have depression and they're not really feeling good about themselves, they don't have a sense of accomplishment.
Mm,
And when you give people a sense of accomplishment, that makes all the difference in the world.
yeah.
And one of the greatest things that I see that makes me happy is when I'm teaching techniques and I see my peeps starting to take those techniques and using them and making the beautiful pieces that they like. That gives me a warm feeling. So,
Yeah.
and that's what it's all about for me. Okay.
Well, yeah, but yeah, it's brilliant. I think anybody that does these tutorials and these channels and things, just taking time out of their day to help someone else. It might be a small thing, and you might not think you're doing anything major, but for somebody else, you could be, like I said earlier, you could be just removing them from a bad situation just for a few minutes. And it's got to be worth it.
Yes. And again, you and I both know the notes that we've gotten, the private notes from people
Hmm.
that,
Yeah.
I've had a couple that have just grabbed my heart and ripped it out,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I just, you don't think that you're having that impact on somebody, and you are. You
Exactly. I
are.
still struggle with coming to terms with that, because as you know, I've got really low self-esteem, really low confidence. So I'm always sort of second guessing everything I do, thinking like, well, this is not that great, it can't be helping people that much, it's just colouring, blah blah blah. You have these kind of intrusive imposter syndrome thoughts. And yeah, I think it's nice to be reminded sometimes that you can be making a difference, in people's lives.
Well, and let me ask you this. I know what this has done for me as far as making me feel accomplished and like I'm doing something and, getting something out there.
Yeah.
Um, when when does the day come for you that you feel confidence and you don't have this imposter syndrome?
If you find out, let me know. Honestly, I don't know, but I think over the time that I've been doing it, it's steadily sort of chiseling away at the whole self-esteem thing, and it is sinking in, that I can help people and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. That's probably just my general personality, and whether that'll ever sink in properly, I don't
Oh, sweetie, it'll get there. It'll get
know.
there. Now, now you have children, right?
I do. I've got two boys.
Two boys. Ooh, what ages are they?
15 and 12.
Oh, interesting ages.
Yeah, so almost two teenagers.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what do they think about what you do?
Um, well, they don't really say much. They like to take the mickey out of me sometimes. Because I used to start all my videos with hi everyone and welcome to another video from Colour with Claire, and you just hear them going, hi everyone, welcome to because you know, like how you can have a telephone voice or a posh voice that you would put on. My kids always take the mick saying that I don't sound like I normally sound when I go on camera. Like, why are you being so posh and stuff like that? So basically they just take the mick out of me. But yeah, they think it's all right. They think it's cool. But, you know, they're teenage lads. They're not, mum's just embarrassing to them anyway. So
I
yeah, they're
get
not
it.
too bothered.
I get it. But you know what? I think that in the background, now, what are your boys' names, please?
Shane and Max.
Shane and Max. Shane is the
Hmm.
oldest and Max is the next. Is it
Yep.
right? Okay. Okay. You know, I honestly think that I think it's sinking in what mom does for other people. I mean, they must see what you're doing. And you know, I think that it's sinking in. It'll show up someday as they get older and it'll make sense to them, I think. Don't you?
Yeah. I mean, I've had these conversations with my eldest before, and you know, he thinks it's great. He's just not that way inclined, you know, artistic and things like that. So I don't think it just interests him enough to get involved. But yeah, he thinks it's great. They both do, but they're
Okay.
cheeky, so they like to wind me up.
Okay, now let me ask you this. Obviously we've all been shut down because of COVID.
Hmm.
How is the situation in your at your end?
um, well, we're supposedly slowly coming out of the second, or I don't even know if it's the second or third lockdown now. It's been so complicated, and to be honest, I've stopped listening to the news and stopped watching things about it because it just gets too much. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but we are on Monday, this Monday coming, having more of our restrictions lifted. So things like cinemas are going to reopen, you'll be allowed to go in restaurants instead of sat outside and things like that. And then they're saying that in June, everything, social distancing will be gone. But then we've got this Indian variant or whatever it is coming in, and you know, it might not happen. We might be in lockdown again for autumn. So really, it's all up in the air still. It's been up in the air for over a year for everybody. And
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
there's a lot you can say about it, governments being idiots and stuff, but you know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the reason that I asked too. Oh, Rhonda Green wants to know where you're from. Where are you from, Claire?
So I'm from the UK, but more specifically I live in Nottinghamshire, which is in the Midlands, so the middle part of the UK, of England, of the UK. And Nottingham is famous for Robin Hood, so
There you go. There
yeah.
you go. What I wanted to say about COVID, and this is why I asked you, another thought to give you, you know, talking about your worth and my worth and in
Hmm.
doing this with the adult coloring is obviously a lot of people got shut in and that really hurts the psyches of a lot of people and the
Yeah, big time.
depression and added on to that. So where do you see adult coloring going?
Sorry, I think you just cut out then, but I think you're back. um Colouring, so adult colouring was massive for the first sort of couple of years, and then it went into a big dip. I don't know whether you noticed that a lot less people were doing it. There was a lot less people in groups and things like that, and it just seemed to go down. And I think the lockdown and the COVID, it's brought like a resurgence back into it, because there's an awful lot of people at home. There's an awful lot of people not knowing what to do with themselves and wanting to use this time to pick up a new skill, or you know, just get through each day and find something to occupy them. So I think it's COVID's actually done a world of good for the adult colouring phenomenon, whatever you want to call
Exactly.
it. Yeah. um
Exactly.
yeah, because you've got you've got, as you say, COVID. The biggest thing for me about COVID, and I'm not going to get into it because it's just so polarizing. You've got people with opinions here and opinions here. But the thing with COVID that I feel is I'm a lot more worried about people's mental health than I am about the virus. And that might sound, that might not be what other people think, but for me, I personally know how much things like this and how much being shut in and being disconnected from people can affect your mental health to a huge level, to a huge extent. We're talking, you know, I don't want to speak about triggering subjects, but really, it can be life or death. So for me, I think that anything that can just help fill in that gap and just occupy you and distract you, it's really worth doing, especially at a time like this.
Right, and that's exactly why I brought this up, because I don't know if you've gotten notes, but people ask me why I do this. And you brought up a really salient point, important point, is that I think that for years to come, we are going to see mental health issues come out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And like you, I have been concerned about it. I mean, the health aspect of it, from the standpoint of getting the shot, we'll all get over this eventually. Um, the flu came through, the vaccines seem to be working. I'm actually on my first shot of my COVID shot, and I will be getting my second one in about a week. So we'll see how, hopefully that'll turn out okay. Um,
Yeah.
but people have been very frustrated and angry, and I think that with this, giving people an outlet, and this is what keeps me going. People ask
Yeah.
me, as I said, how I can do this every day, but giving people an outlet and a chance to come in and say hello, and oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here, and they're
Yeah.
learning something, and it's just phenomenal. So
Well,
yes.
you're giving people a place to go when they might not have anyone else to talk to. They might be on their own. They might not speak to anyone else from day to day to day. So you're doing this is giving people somewhere that they know they can go every single day. They know there's going to be that hour or two where they can go and speak to somebody, which is, again,
Yes.
it seems like such a small thing, but it's to some people that need it, it's everything. It's massive.
Yeah, and you're right, and that's consistency is the main thing that I'm after. I think I
Mm-hmm.
had one time that I wasn't on air, and that was because my internet system shut down. And um, I've got Dawn Boyer. I don't know if you know of her, but she's another.
Yeah,
Okay, Dawn, or of Dawn, and
I do. I designed one of her. Well, I coloured one of her book
her
covers. I won the
covers.
contest.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was years ago. It's brilliant.
Yes. And she covered for me. So yeah, it's that consistency, and I think that that's what
Mm-hmm.
people enjoy from me and from you,
Yeah,
that they know that we're all, we're going to be there for them, and that's really the great thing. So
yeah.
I'm so excited. All right. So where do you see this going in, from, I think it
Yeah,
was. Okay, and then it's kind of died out, right? Because you don't
yeah.
see the books as much in the stores.
I mean, that's what trends do. It's with anything, they'll have this huge peak and then they will just gradually trail down. And only those who have really got into it and it's made a difference and they enjoy it will stick around. Um, but yeah, like I said, I do think that COVID has brought about the whole thing again.
So the upside, it's really funny, and it's kind of an interesting way to look at things. But I almost think that COVID has brought people closer together,
Mm-hmm.
because more people now, even if it is over a screen, just like what we're doing now,
Yeah,
um, people are talking over a screen, they're communicating, they're watching more live events, they're watching more videos. People at the push of a button can be in contact with each other. I mean, look at you and me right now. We're across the world at this
I
point.
know. Yeah, it's crazy. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, it's wonderful. And you know, my peeps are enjoying. By the way, if anybody has any questions for Claire, please say them. Claire, can you see the screen while you're on? Are you
Yes,
able to?
I can see
Okay.
everything. Yeah, I'm not paying any attention, but I'll try and look at the comments as well.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, and I'm trying to keep an eye on it too as well. So if you have any questions for Claire while we're going, that's great. Um, but yeah, so I think that this has taught people that we can be more connected, if anything, than we were before. And
Yeah.
so it's going to be interesting to see what happens when things do ease up and people get out more, and whether that connection will stay intact. I hope that it
Mm.
will.
I think it will. I think it's been such a massive blow to everybody and a huge upheaval in everybody's lives. I can't really see this ever going away now. This, not COVID, but this, the communication element of it, and just making those connections with people. I think
Hmm.
that's gonna stick around. I hope it will.
Okay, and let's see. Oh, so Helen says, Claire, what gives you the biggest buzz in the art world?
Well, Helen, um, I would I would say what I've already said about people messaging and saying how much it's helped them. That's what gives me the biggest buzz personally for doing the channel. Um, in terms of what excites me about art, I guess it's always changing, and it's changed over the years what I've been interested in and interested in learning. But at the moment, I'm really excited by trying to see if I can learn more hyper realistic portraits. So,
Mm.
trying to get skin looking even more realistic and facial features and stuff like that, because I would really, really love to be able to draw faces hyper, photo realistic faces. That's the goal. um it's probably going to take years and years, and sometimes I can't even be bothered to try and learn it. So it'll probably take years of me being on and off and on and off with trying to learn, because that's just how I am. I get bored very quickly, and then I get into things really obsessively and then get bored. So yeah, that's what I would say is my, I don't know what the original question was about, a buzz, but yeah, that's my target, I guess.
Okay. Now, where do you see adult coloring going from here as far as you're concerned? What is your goal?
Yeah, so it's really is just to keep developing skills, keep watching what everyone else is doing, learning from other people. I watch a lot of other channels. It's not just I don't just focus solely on what I'm doing. I like to see what everyone else is up to and see if I can learn from other people. I learn a lot from other people. Um, and yeah, that's it really. Just keep going how I'm going, and it's working. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
There you go. There you go. Well, and I've noticed that you are very generous with showing techniques and so forth for people to, for you to that you pass on to other people and use for themselves.
Yeah.
Um, so, how did you get to the point? You know, you said that you taught yourself the coloring and so forth. So, how did you get to the point from getting to the point of just starting your coloring when you were fighting your depression to the point of being able to turn around now and then do little tutorials for people?
Well, as I said, it all started off with just reviewing books and art supplies. So I was purely reviewing, and I don't really know how I started getting into actually showing tutorials. I might have done a few on the blog as a written and picture thing. I can't really remember, but I think it was just that thing of I was learning things and I wanted to pass that on to other people, because I found ways of making it easy to do but effective at the same time. I always say that in my videos. My tutorials are simple and easy, but they're effective. So they might not be, really properly artistic in that sense. They're not going to be amazing, and they're not going to be like these amazing fine artists can do, but they are going to be bold and vibrant and have a lot of contrast and be really poppy on the page. My thing is about making things pop, and I think that's what attracts people really, is just the simplicity of it, but how good it can look at the end.
Okay, and Maddie wanted to know what your favorite pencils are.
So I work mostly with Prismacolor, but I would say between Prismacolor and Luminance are my favourites. They're both really soft wax
Okay.
pencils, and that's the medium that I work best with.
Okay. Now, Sandra says that she really appreciates all of your color combination charts that you do.
Yeah.
So let's see. So you've done that and the charts for the different colored pencil brands. Now, do you buy extra pencil brands to do the charts, or do you just do the charts based on what you have?
Usually I'll do them based on what I have, but I have had a couple of requests from people in the past, and I have ended up going and buying different pencils to try those. But with the charts, it's usually the ones that I've got more. I more buy pencils for reviewing and showing them, you know, and how they work. Whereas charts and color combinations, I try and do those for what I've actually got already, and also what seemed to be more popular at the time. So for example, the Arteza pencils went through a really big popularity surge, so I did one for Arteza because there were a lot of people asking for that. And Arteza are more of a budget brand, they're not a high-end artist brand, so it's more accessible for people, and that's really what I try and do. I mean, I do work with a lot of high-end brands, but I, you know, as in pencils, I do a lot of charts for like Derwent Lightfast, things like that. But I do try and keep going with the budget brands as well, because that's what's most accessible to a lot of people. So it makes sense to me. There's no point me doing charts and all sorts of things for, you know, ridiculously expensive stuff that not everybody's going to be able to get. So yeah, it's just about keeping it inclusive really, and accessible.
Okay. So back to your tutorials, because I've watched yours as well, of course. And you did, I was mentioned one that you did about a upside down snow globe type thing, which really intrigued me. And you happened to say at the time, and I don't know if you remember doing this, but you said, I was watching the telly one day and I just happened to be sketching out the snow globe. Do you remember that by any chance?
I'm trying to think. I can't remember yet. Keep talking.
Oh gosh. Okay. And it was just so interesting because um, you 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 work these things out with everybody, and you explain the fact
Yeah.
uh, that you work them out. And I think that that's what makes everything you do so workable and doable, because you are showing the struggles that you go through, not struggles, but the steps that you go through
Yeah.
in order to do the globes. And actually, you did a little video on it, and I posted it in my group and credited you, of course. And so that was just really fun, because it was just fun watching you put that together. And I think that
I,
that's what people enjoy.
I still can't really remember what you're talking about. Was it the
Okay.
was it the snow globe with the polar bear in it?
Yes, yes, yes.
Right, got you. Yeah. So I'm trying to think. I've done a couple of different sort of things that could be interpreted like that, but yeah, I do remember what you're talking about now. So yeah, that
Yeah.
was fun. Again, it's just something that I could be colouring a page and something will just pop out to me. Like I'll think, well, that is perfectly centered and would look brilliant as a snow globe. It was like with the bear, I think he was sat on some books or sat on something, and it just
Rocks. Yeah.
right. So it made a perfect like base for a snow globe. And I don't know, it's just things just come to me sometimes, and
Yeah.
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's trial and error.
Well, and you see, that's what I think that makes your work likable, because you don't put up any pretense on this at all.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part. And I don't either. And I've done stuff and I'll say something like, well, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah.
Like, Helen wanted to know if you draw to a focal point like a wheelbarrow in a garden. Yeah.
Um, a focal point. So when I'm drawing, you mean?
Yes.
She must mean. Um, I guess. I mean, you've got the fairy there. You can see that she's centered on the page, and Helen sort of added some bits and bobs around it. So yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so, but there's really no specific format that you follow, like to a focal point, or do you, um, like right now, this is going into our door here where this fairy is. And so I think that's what Helen was asking about, if you draw in any specific way.
No, not really. It's just whatever sort of comes to mind. I find it quite difficult to compose images. So I know what I want to do in my head, and it's just figuring out where to put each element on the page to make it look right, I suppose. And I really do struggle with that. I'm at the moment I'm drawing a carousel like you get at the fair,
Yeah.
you know, the horses, but I've changed the horses into safari animals. So I've got like an elephant, a carousel seat, and then like a tiger and whatever else. But I'm just really struggling with the perspective and seeing which way, you know, because obviously it goes around.
Right.
I'm struggling with where to angle them and stuff. So yeah, I do struggle with that really.
Okay. So let's talk about your images now. You can see this fairy that I've got on the screen,
Yeah.
the fairy in the fairy door. And I really like the fact that you made her a plus size fairy. That is,
Yes.
yay. I like
And that was a what's the word? I did that on purpose. That was very much it's not something that just happened. That was something that I thought I definitely want this girl to be curvier and not be portrayed as this tiny stick thin girl that you see them in all the colouring books, you know.
that.
You hardly ever get any diversity, especially with size, disability, age. You know, you hardly ever have any colouring books that have old skin and wrinkles and stuff like that, and you know, plus size and things like that. So I don't know. As I was drawing, I mean, I've drawn other images with girls that, you know, are quite thin and you know, the standard beauty model kind of look, but for this one, I don't know. I'd really just wanted it to represent girls like me, I
Yeah.
suppose. You know?
Yeah. Now, so let's talk about your images. And by the way, if anybody's wondering why I have this pushed up a little bit, I need to be able to see the comments. So I need it under a darker background. I'll move it down in a little bit. Um, okay, so you talked about um, starting to do images of your own, right?
Yeah.
Drawing your own images. Let's talk about that.
So it's very, very recent. I've always said that I am crap at drawing. Like I just cannot draw, and I've tried desperately over the years to learn to draw, and I've got a bit better. You know, made mistakes and things like that, and improved a bit. You know, bit by bit, and I decided that I might try digital drawing because I just wasn't really getting anywhere with the pencil and paper. And I wasn't getting any sense of achievement from it, but I still really, really wanted to learn. So I bought myself an iPad, got myself an Apple Pencil, got the Procreate program, which is what you use on the iPad to draw. And just for the first week or two, had so much fun learning how to use it, learning the functions. And the best thing about it is that it's got a back button, so you can undo all of your mistakes, um, just like that. And I think that was the thing that's really sort of hooked me in, is that I can just, if I've done something wrong, it's literally the tap of a screen and it's gone, and I can try again and try again and try again and try again until I get it right. And obviously with digital drawing, you've got the ability to have reference photos right there. You can put the grid on, so you can, you know, you can do the outlines and things perfectly. And yeah, it's just, I'm really excited about it. And yeah.
Then you can take it all in. Okay, so let's talk about your images now. So
Okay.
you've got several on in the Etsy store now, this being one of them, correct?
Yeah, well, actually, that one that you've got there is the one that Helen added the bits to behind the fairy, and that's just something that we did just to mess around together and see what it would look like if we both mashed our styles together and coloured them in. But the actual image that's on the Etsy is this one, so it's just the fairy on its own.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the one that's on Etsy.
Okay. So are you going to offer up both images on Etsy, one with the backgrounds and one with just plain?
That one there with the background will just be given out for people to colour.
Okay. Okay. So we talked about all right. So you talked about other images that you have on Etsy. How about you showing them to us?
Yeah, so I printed them out so that I can hold them up because I wasn't sure how to get it on the screen. I don't know if you can put pictures on the screen in lives, I don't know. So I just thought I'll print them out anyway. So there are a few that are faces. This is one of the faces.
Oh, yeah.
So this one was done specifically to leave lots of space on the face for you to decide where to put the features, as in the shading and cheekbones and things like that, because as you've probably noticed when people colour in faces, every single rendering of that drawing, every colouring of that drawing can make the face look completely different.
Yes.
So really that was just giving you space to put your own stamp on it, and you know, it had a kind of an unusual hairstyle, so I
Okay.
went for that. This one, and this is a perfect point to illustrate for that, is another lady,
Oh, yeah.
which is actually really popular, and I really like this one. I'm really proud of that. And I've had 4 people colour it so far, and I've printed out their versions.
Oh, yeah.
So if you just look at every single version of it, they are all so completely different, and it completely changes the face and the illustration in the way that it's coloured, which is something that it's astounded me really how they've managed to do that with the same illustration. I mean,
Oh,
you know, how they've managed to get that from that,
yeah.
just incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so next is this one, which is like an Oriental Eastern inspired image.
Mm-hmm.
Again, so with me, I'll look for reference images and inspiration on sites with free commercial images. So sites like Pixabay and Unsplash, you know, where they have photographs that you can use for any purpose you like. So they're royalty free. And so
Yes.
I'll look for my reference images there, and I'll find one that I like, or one that's along with the theme that I'm trying to do, and that's where this one came from. And then I just added in a few background elements just to give it something else, and yeah, so that's that one. Next is this one, which is a piece of jewellery,
Oh,
obviously. So I wanted to do a locket, a love heart locket, but I wanted to give it some really nice decoration, give it something a bit different. So I added this tree of life, which is obviously all these little leaves on it. I thought that would be quite nice to draw, maybe with your fine liners, colour it in. And then obviously all the beads you could do as metal beads, you could do them as pearls, and they're quite big, so it gives you that space to
yes.
techniques and stuff. I hope I'm not boring everyone with this. I've only got a few left. Okay, so this one is a mandala that I did. It's a mandala dream catcher. So I was messing around with the symmetry function on the app, and that's how I designed this really. So you get a line down the middle, and sometimes you get one across as well, and you just do half of the image and then it will just reflect itself, and that's how I drew that.
Okay.
And I gave it some peacock feathers. Then I have my most popular one, which is this one.
I,
It's called Wellies in Bloom.
I love those boots. I really do.
They're really sweet, aren't they? And all of these flowers, again, I drew with the symmetry function, or most of them anyway. So you can see they've got some really unusual leaves. I didn't take any inspiration from normal flowers that you would find. It's just whatever pattern came out.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and this one is a Johanna Basford inspired one. So she often does love hearts with flowers. And again, I just drew the flowers sort of out of the top of my head and whatever came out, and just formatted it into a heart. So that's that one. Two more.
Oh,
another.
take your time. They're wonderful. Seriously, you are not boring us at all.
Okay,
I love
good.
it. Okay.
This is another face that I've drawn. Obviously, not really too much to say about it. Again, I had a reference image of a model headshot, and just did my best to replicate it into line art. And then finally is my most recent one that I released a couple of days ago, and I think it's my favourite yet. And it's this mermaid.
Yeah.
So it's Mermaid at the moment, which I think is a colour along thing, where you just colour a mermaid in the month of May and then you put it on with the hashtag. So I thought this would be quite nice for people to maybe do if they're taking part in that colour along. So again, I just found a reference image that I really liked of the position of the mermaid. I think it was a statue or an ornament, and I took reference from that position. You know, it's not easy to just come up with how does someone look when they're sat in a certain position. You know, you need that reference, and then I just added in the little details. So yeah, that's it.
Didn't you also have 4 seasonal?
Yes, they're the first ones that I did when I was very first messing around with the iPad. I haven't printed those ones out, but yes, they were globes. Again, snow globes, but they were in the season. So there's one for spring, summer, autumn, and winter with all different elements from those periods.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. And I don't know if you've been able to see the comments while you were showing them, but the comments are coming back very positive, really.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much.
They really are. Okay, so I want you to hold up your right hand for me. Hold up your right hand for me. I promise,
Okay.
repeat after me. I promise
I promise
that I will not take down my Etsy store.
that I will not take down my Etsy store. Watch me do it next week.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, everybody's asking for the link. I'll go ahead, or I'll tell you what, go ahead and go ahead and paste the link to your Etsy store in my group. And that way people can go ahead and get to it.
Okay, I'll see if I can do that now.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead and do that. And just put admin, just put admin approved, please.
Okay.
And we'll get that link in there. Okay, now as far as the Etsy store, does it automatically translate the or convert the dollars or the pounds to dollars when we're buying from it?
I believe so, yes. You have to have an Etsy account, obviously, because then it will take into account the currency that you've done when you started it. But yeah, it should do that. And obviously with them being PDFs, you don't have to worry about postage or anything.
Okay. And I believe right now that the dollar is worth more than the pound. I'm not sure what the rate is, but
yeah, I'm not sure. The dollar's usually more than the pound.
Okay. So we'll see. That should be a favorable, but either way. All right. Did you get that posted?
Yeah, I'm just doing it now.
Okay. Yeah. Just put admin approved, and here's the link to my Etsy store. Now, are those little round ones that you first did? Are those on there as well?
Yes, they're the very, very first ones. I didn't, to be honest, like I said, it was when I was very first starting out. So I look back at them and I think I could have done that better. I could have done that better. So I didn't bother printing them out. But yes, they are all on there, and they're in a pack of 4 as well. So that if you wanted to buy all 4 at a discount, you could do that.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Okay. Now, just so that you know, too, that whenever you are searching color with Claire, you have to spell color with COLOUR.
Yes. Don't forget the U.
Don't forget the U. And yeah, Sherry in my group says Claire is one of the first YouTube colorists I started watching. So
Oh, wow.
she's been with you for a long time. That's really
Yeah.
fantastic. All right. Now, did you not say that you would also support a contest around this image? Is that correct?
Yes, so that's what I was planning on doing with that image, the one that Helen has so generously added to with her illustration. I've given that image to ILene, and I believe you're going to be posting it on the group, and people can colour that, and I will choose a winner, and then that winner will be able to have any PDF of their choice from the shop.
Ooh, all right, there you go. All right, so I'll go ahead and set the time. It'll probably be a couple weeks, that you guys can get this in, but we'll do it around this image. I will post it in the group folder so that you guys can get access to it. And Claire, do you mind judging the entries? Are you okay with that?
That's fine. Yeah, no problem. Can't wait to see them.
Okay. Okay, good. We'll see. All right. Does anybody have any questions while we're going through here? So, Claire, wonderful. Anything else that's on your mind that you would like to say to our group while you're here? This is the time to do it because everybody's seeing this live, and
Yeah.
we've got, what do you want people to know about you? What do you want people to know about coloring? I mean, just here's your opportunity to do that.
I just enjoy it, and I'm really, really glad that people are loving the videos and getting something out of them, and I will continue to do it for as long as people want me to do it. And just thank you to anyone and everyone that's watching, that has ever watched a video or commented. You've kept me going, and I think that you've helped me as much as, if not more than, I've helped other people. So yeah, that's it.
Beautiful. Well, listen, I really appreciate you coming on. And the reason that I invite artists in is people absolutely love to see people like you face to face, and to have that one-on-one interaction, and just to see you and get to know you and get to know your personality. Rhonda Green says, please know that you all do so much for us.
Oh,
So
thank you.
it's really,
Thank you. Really
Mary.
appreciate that.
Yeah, Mary says, I really like the color family charts. So she likes
Yeah,
that. Oh,
they've been
prep.
really, really popular.
Yeah, yeah. So you'll continue to do those, I'm assuming. Um,
Yes. Yeah,
have,
I do quite a few colour combination charts for different pencil brands. The colour family charts I've only done for Prismas and Polys so far. They take a lot longer, and it's a lot more work to put into it. So yeah, I will be doing more in the future, but few and far between because it just wipes me out.
okay. And the question also came up, would you ever consider doing a coloring book on Amazon?
That has been mentioned. Again, I'm not really feeling massively confident yet with the drawings. The Etsy thing is just sort of me dipping a toe into the water.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when I've got a larger catalogue of work, I might look into it. But at the moment, I'm just enjoying. The best thing for me is seeing people that coloured them, like I showed you the 4 examples. That makes me want to give them all away and just get as many people colouring them as possible, because I just love seeing them coloured. And yeah, that's the reward for me.
Okay. And yeah, and I realize it's a little premature to ask about Amazon books because you've just gotten to the point, that you're starting to digitize and draw your images with
Yeah.
a computer. Um, do you, even though it is a little bit early, do you see that as being a possibility? I mean, is it something that you are potentially interested in, or just hadn't thought about it, or where are you on
I've not thought too much about it. I don't really think too far ahead with
that? Right.
things, so I don't like to get ahead of myself. So maybe in the future, I'm not ruling it out.
Okay, good. All right. Well, listen, thank Claire. I thank you so much for appearing. And again, I know it's what, 2 o'clock in the morning now.
It's 2:05, ILene. What are you doing to me? Yeah, yeah. But
Just
I've really enjoyed it, and thank you very much for having me.
well, again, people, you know, we'll get to know you and just get to know your personality, and it's just wonderful, and I appreciate it. And if anybody else has any questions, let's get them in real quick. So again, this is Color with Claire, and that's Colour, and she has her YouTube channel, of course, on YouTube. And please visit her Etsy store to see these beautiful images, and I will post the contest and she will go ahead and judge that. So, young lady, get your sleep, take it easy.
I will. All right.
You can take your toothpicks out now.
Yeah. Oh.
Really? No, you look.
All right.
You
Well,
look
thank you
just
very, very much again for having me, and thank you everyone for watching.
okay. Miss Claire, you take care.
And you. All
All
right.
right.
Speak to you soon.
All right. Bye bye now.
Bye bye.
All right. Woohoo! I hope you guys enjoyed that. Nice, nice lady. All right, so I will be putting this image up for a contest soon. Oh. And I'm just so glad that you guys could come in here tonight and watch this. That was fun. Fun, fun, fun. All righty. So let me go ahead and get an image out here that we can color. La, da, 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 da. All right, guys. Thank you so much for making Claire feel welcome. I so appreciate that. All right, I want to show you something real quick that I was doing in Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, and then I'm going to pop over to this Johanna Bosfer piece. So this is Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. And I went ahead and with stencil, I added this background. I was showing it to you last night. I've got the circle area done. Zoom in. Well, all righty. So I wanted to show you this background that I've been playing around with. And this is a stencil here that had the little brick pieces on it. And I went through and inked those up, and then I have my little splashes. Now, obviously, I'm doing my splashes down the bottom here where my water is. And I just wanted to go ahead and bring down some of my splashes, or some of my little pebbles here that I'm coloring in the various shades of green. Now, I may not necessarily go through and color everything in green. I may just add different ones here. Now, one of the other things that you could do with this, if you want, is just go ahead and add a leafy background. Totally up to you how you want to do this. But that's why I'm doing the green on the pebbles. Zoom out. There we go. All right. Now, remember, you don't have to do everything filled in, right? Zoom out. And what I'm making sure that I'm doing also is I'm speckling this with green, and I will use 2 shades of green in most of my blocks. Not all, but most of them. And I'm doing a sound check, guys. So notice that I'm using the light green. Oh, I just want to do a sound check. Okay, images. Okay, gotcha. So on some of these green areas, I'm going ahead and shading my green. So that's my darker green on top of my lighter green. And then on my blue, zoom in. I'm using my different shades for my blue and blending those in. Everybody see now how I'm going ahead and shading out this blue. Hi, Stephanie. Excuse my hand here. And everybody see how this thing is coming to life? Now, again, when you're shading your little droplets here, you can see how I'm curving this around. Oh, Claire's, that was so much fun with Claire. All right. What made you pick the pebbles? Well, I wanted to have a green background that wasn't going to necessarily fill in the whole thing. And so I thought that the pebble look would be a nice look to have with this. It's clear Eadie, Eadie, Nancy, Claire, last name Eadie. Okay, guys. So let's go ahead, zoom out. And as you can see, I'm tinting every one of these green pebbles with 2 tones of the greens, at least the ones that I'm working on. Now, obviously, I'm going to do the bulk of these off camera. Everybody see how beautifully now that's turning out? All right, everybody see how that's coming out now? Absolutely beautiful, guys. So what do you think of the speckled look? Do you like it? Zoom in. Sarah. I really haven't worked in that direction. I do have a tool that does that. Why do you ask? The pointillism? Oops. All right, guys. All right, let me adjust my camera just a little bit. Zoom out. All right. Everybody see now how this splash is looking at the bottom of the page. All right, guys, give me a second here. Hold on, guys, give me a second. Be right with you, guys. All right. Sorry about that. All right, let me work on these last two, and then you can see how we've got that blue at the bottom with the green. Now, again, notice that I'm using the different shades of blue. Zoom in, zoom in. All right, guys. Zoom out. All right, anybody have any questions about this blue that I'm putting in here? I want you to notice the depths. All right, here we go. All my blues are colored in. All right, guys, what do you think? Now, remember, you don't have to do all these greens. And this is where I'm encouraging you to leave some of these open. All righty. Now, zoom in. Some of these are multicolor green, and some are the one color. Everybody see that? And again, I would encourage you to not feel like you have to color everything in. Okay? All right. Zoom out. Now, everybody see how all of this is working together? Now, I want you to watch this. And I want you to see that this one area near the greenery, I'm going to go ahead and color everything in. And you'll see how this is going to make a difference. So every little pebble that's right next to this greenery, I'm going to go ahead and color in. And then what that's going to do is it's going to make this look like that the green is exploding out into the outside. And look how beautiful now that this is turning out. Zoom in. So when you're doing something like this, guys, I want you to be creative. And what I'm doing is going to make sense in a minute. All right, so what I want you to notice now is we're getting a ring of green. Oh, Melba, good night. I'm so sorry you're not feeling well. All right, everybody see now how this is coming together, that I've got the green. Next to the hoop, and then exploding outward. Isn't that neat? All right, look how neat that mosaic, guys, is turning out. And I hope that you can see that on camera. All right, guys, I think you can see how this pattern is working up. Zoom out, zoom out. Everybody see how beautiful that looks now with that green coming off the immediate circle? And again, on some of these pieces, on these pebbles, I'm doing multicolored green. Hi, Wanda. So now all of these are going to be spotted green and white. And I'm not going to do all the green down here. And I think we're in pretty good shape, guys. I don't want to add too much more to this. So I've got the green right next to the green foliage. The mosaic is going out this way. And we've got a nice little dimensional pattern going here. I really don't want to add too much more to it. I think it's in pretty good shape. Zoom out. So I think I'm going to call this one done. All right, guys, so this is out of Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. I think we're in good shape with it. Zoom out. All right, on to a new project. So this is a Johanna Boxford. If somebody could tell me the book that this is out of, I want to say Enchanted Forest. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get into with this one. All right. I think you're right, Maddie. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. All right, let's have some fun with it. New project. So one of the first things I'm going to do, zoom in. Is have a little fun with the water on here. So let's see what we can do with this. Very, very light pencil. I want to go ahead and extend this. Now remember, you're doing this in pencil first. And that way you can play around with the logistics of your lines. So right now I'm just going ahead and playing around with putting some stones on here. Yeah, I don't know. I may make it into, I may do that. Good night, Miss Pearl. All right. Zoom out. Okay. So I've added in a few extra water droplets in pencil. And I'm going to leave those sit for a while I decide how the rest of this is going to look. All righty. So let's go ahead and start up the coloring on this. One of the main pieces here is the stream. So we'll go ahead and get that defined. Now, as I mentioned before, zoom in. And I've been talking about this at length, is I'm using 2 shades of blue, light blue. And this is one of those things where your eyes may not necessarily see it, but your brain will. It's just very, very subtle, guys. Zoom in. And then I'm coming back in with a slightly darker blue. And we'll go ahead and define those edges. But you can see this lighter blue here around the fish. Rhonda, that's probably Vicky. Fingerling sound. She's got a small bell on her collar. All right. So you can see those 2 shades of blue. And now I'm going to come in with a darker blue. And work on these edges. And notice how I'm bringing this blue in to parts of the water, especially where the artist has put in their lines. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a darker blue yet I'm going to get the proper one. Excuse my hand. Okay. So I've got 4 colors of blue on this. All right, see how that rich blue now is coming up? And notice now how we're getting lots of depth on that. All right, zoom out, zoom out. Everybody see now how we've got a really great lush waterfall here. All right, guys, we are close to witching hour. I think I'm going to stop right there, and I'll continue this tomorrow. Thank you so much, guys, for attending. And I hope you had a really great time with Claire tonight. Sleep tight, calling it an evening. This is ILene, joyous coloring, guys. This is ILene Vick for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. And you guys take care. Love you guys. Bye.